Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. That is the day that social media influencer and political activist Charlie Kirk was assassinated at Utah Valley University. And I think it's not important to include if he was conservative, liberal, what type of political influencer he was. I'm going to leave it vague because I want this to be a very unbiased take on the entire scenario. So I'm sure by now you've seen the news, you've seen the headlines, you've seen the social media stories. Charlie Kirk, this guy who supports a certain candidate, or this guy who supports a certain belief system, was shot and killed. But I don't think the word shot does it justice. I think shot is different, when somebody, yes, he was shot, sure, but when you phrase things like that, you kind of downplay the nature of it. He was indeed assassinated. No matter how you look at it, no matter your own political beliefs, no matter your own political leanings, he was assassinated. So essentially, Charlie Kirk, this social media influencer and activist, like I already stated, he goes around to different college campuses and has different conversations with college students and really anybody who wants to speak. You don't even have to be a student. So for example, he actually came here to North Texas. He came to UNT, so University of North Texas, and actually had a conversation with the students here. And he'd pass out hats and merchandise and things like that. But essentially, what his spiel is he sets up a tent, and then he has a basis or like a thesis and listings of questions that he'll ask, and he wants you to change his mind on it, or he wants you to divulge in conversation. So an example of this would be a gender debate. How many genders are there? Factually, how many genders do you believe there are? Gun policy, First Amendment, Second Amendment. He'll basically go down the list and he'll put out political questions that he wants you to step up and debate him. And I'll be honest with you, I've watched a lot of his stuff, neither here nor there, without any, well, maybe a little bit of a bias, but I've watched a lot of his stuff, and for the most part, he is very civil, he is cordial. Of course, we are in this social media day and age, so yes, he said a ton of things that are going to be outlandish, just like I think we all do to some degree. He has some beliefs that I don't agree with, but he has some that I definitely do agree with. And the reason why I'm prefacing things this way is I'm trying to stay as unbiased as possible and just kind of lay out the scope of all of this, right? So anyways, we're going to lift off that bookmark and continue. So he goes to college campuses. He wants you to step up and make your point. In the middle of the debates, yes, like I said, we're in the social media day and age. He's definitely going to take jabs at you if you present an opportunity. So he's definitely, sometimes he won't necessarily go with personal insults, but sometimes he leans that way. But people also personally insult him all the time. He's never called to violence, but many, many, many other people have wished violence upon him. And so now you kind of get a little bit of the backdrop of who he is, right? He is conservative. He is Republican. He is pro-Donald Trump. Now, when you hear those things, I want you to take a step back and listen to it as if you are not your thoughts. I don't want you to listen to it with your own bias leanings. I want you to just listen to those statements, zoom yourself out, and just take the facts of that. Conservative, Republican, pro-Donald Trump. So anyways, the reason I say that is because his belief system is very in line with that. He's very in the belief system of the gender debate, that there's two. He's very in the belief system that, yes, we should have guns, and that gun violence, coincidentally enough, or ironically enough, is worth keeping guns, because we need to be able to have guns in case other bad people wish harm upon us, or even worse, the government, which is the original foundation of the Second Amendment. So again, I'm not taking sides here. I'm just laying out the foundation of that. So I want you to zoom yourself out. And like I said, he had 7 million followers on social media. Now he's at 10.5 million. And that's just to show you the scope of how much people he influences. Whether you hate him, whether you love him, whether you hated him or loved him, he has massive influence. He has massive reach. He has many, many people that he's brought from the left side of politics over to the right through his logical debates and conversations. He also has the contrary. He has many people that disagree with him vilely, that hate him, that wish harm upon him. And all that to say, he has massive influence. He travels all around the world. He's been to Britain. He's been all throughout Europe. He's been all throughout different countries to debate some of the best and most brightest minds in the political sphere. And for all of that, you have to give props. Whether you disagree or agree with somebody, the fact that they can outperform you in a logical debate and just beat you with logic in that sense, it has to be applauded. And even if you don't feel like they beat you, the fact to be able to stand their ground and actually make valid points to counter yours, whether you won or lost or whatever, it has to be applauded to some degree. The guy's hyper intelligent. But anyways, that's just to paint a little bit of the brush of the stroke of, who he is. Very intelligent guy. A lot of people love him. A lot of people don't. He has some points that are great, some points that are terrible. But he travels all around the world, and he allows you as an individual, he allows you to step up onto a microphone without interruption and lay out your point, and then he will counter it. And all that to say, Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, he was at Utah Valley University. And I don't know how much you guys know about Utah Valley University, but per the polls, it is more so a conservative university. It's more so of a conservative backing. It's more so of a conservative crowd and audience. There are some liberal leanings. There are definitely there. But for the most part, it is a very religious, kind of on the right university. So take that how you will. But there he is sitting in front of thousands of people about 20 minutes into his debate. And he's actually speaking on owning weapons. And he's talking about the Second Amendment. And a shot rings out. He's hit in the neck, blood spewing out of his neck. I actually saw the video, and it was pretty rough. Not going to lie to you. No matter who it is, if it was Obama, if it was AOC, which I disagree with AOC a lot on a lot of things, but if it was AOC, if it was Obama, if it was Charlie Kirk, if it was Trump, whoever it is, you should never want to see their life leave their body. And I think in a day of social media, we're also desensitized to people being shot. But if you really see another human being, if you really see violence and you really witness it, like you really witness blood and you really witness like stabbings and you really witness gunfire, it's not pleasant. Like that shit leaves people scarred for life. But a single shot rings out, hits him in the neck. And I saw the video, guys. It was rough. He got hit straight in the carotid artery. Your carotid artery, it's what transfers oxygen-rich blood from your heart to your brain, all throughout your body. It's where all the oxygenated, rich blood is flowing up to the brain. And it only takes a few seconds of squeezing someone's carotid artery to incapacitate them if you really know how to choke them. So imagine a bullet ripping through. I want to say the bullet actually hit the chest, but it ricocheted and came out through the neck. I waited a few days to record this podcast so I could have a little bit more of the details, but essentially Charlie Kirk travels with security for good reason. There's thousands of people, thousands of students that surround him as he's making his debates. So security is a must. But the one thing that his security I would assume lacks is the ability to shut down nearby buildings, because he doesn't have presidential power to that degree, where if a president's giving a speech, security and Secret Service and the police will shut down any building that could be a sniper position, and they'll survey the area, they'll walk through it, and they'll notate sniper positions. They have snipers on other rooftops scanning horizon lines, basically making sure that somebody can't be shot. Charlie Kirk is a civilian, guys. He's a normal dude. No matter what your view of him, yeah, he has some political prowess. Yeah, he has some clout with the president, and he's met with him, and he's been to different functions, things like that. But he's a normal guy. He has paid security that I'm assuming scans horizon lines to make sure that they can't be shot, or he can't be shot. But at the end of the day, he's a normal guy. He doesn't have the ability to just shut down nearby buildings that could be a potential sniper nest. But anyways, after I watched the details of it, and I read into it, so apparently he wears body armor when he's doing these things. I'm assuming it's pretty light because the t-shirts that he's wearing don't really silhouette his armor a lot. You can't really see it through. So I'm assuming it's, a little bit on the lighter side, but armor nonetheless. But anyways, from what was shown is he got hit in the chest and the bullet may have ricocheted up and came out through the neck. I'm not entirely sure how much that's correct, but at the end of the day, from what I saw, guys, blood was flowing from his neck like a water hose, like a fully turned on water hose. The moment I saw the video, I texted my friend. I said, hey, man, like, he's not going to make it. Like, he's dead. And my friend is like, no, he might. Like, what if he survives? Like, he's probably not going to be the same. He'll probably travel. I was like, dude, I'm telling you, the guy is dead. And sure enough, he was pronounced dead within a few minutes after that. And the reason why this is so terrible, it has nothing to do with his politics, guys. It has to do with the fact he's at a public university. A university back in, in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, used to be a place where your ideas get challenged. Universities are not meant to be safe havens. They're not meant to be safe havens for conservatives, safe havens for liberal people. They're not meant to be a safe haven where you get surrounded by your own ideas. They're meant to challenge your ideas so you can critically think and change your mind on certain topics that maybe you are uninformed about, and also double down on other topics that you're informed about. They're not meant to be safe places. They're meant to be places where they're meant to be safe from harm, sure, but they're meant to be ideological playgrounds, essentially. You have monkey bars, you have swings, you have slides, you have all these different tools and things that you can play around with that are going to shape the way that you think. And more so recently, now more than ever, I feel like it's kind of flipped. People want to be surrounded by their own ideas. They want to go to places where they're kind of fed back their own belief system. And that's not how you learn. That's not how you become a better, more well-rounded human. When you go to the gym, you walk in a certain state of presence. And you lift weights that tear muscles. You lift weights. You do difficult things that you don't want to do, but you still do. And you tear down that muscle and it builds back even stronger. That is the same philosophy and the same mental state of mind you have to be in when you're at a university. If you're super fucking woke, you have to be able to walk up to someone who's super fucking conservative and actually hear them out. And if you're super fucking conservative, you have to be able to hear somebody out who's super woke, because the both of you probably have more in common than you think. And both of you put together will fill the gap of ideology. And that's how you get a successful society. We need strength at times. We need physical protection, but we also need to be compassionate. We also need to, you need both. You need both sides. And this man was assassinated, not just shot, not like, give me your wallet, struggle, shot. No, he was assassinated. And now we have a little bit more details. The mugshot actually just got released here a few moments ago. And I'm looking at the guy right here. The shooting suspect, Tyler Robinson, he's 22 years old. I'm looking at his mugshot now. Caucasian male. Oh man, this dude looks like a fucking CIA plant, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, he definitely does. But Trump said, I think we have him. In quotation marks, he says, I think we have him. And yeah, I don't know the exact scope of who this guy is or what he stood for, but I don't know. It's super interesting because as I'm looking at him, it's just interesting because he's a Caucasian male, but he looks to be on the conservative side of the spectrum if I just looked at him. But he also looks a little crazy, so I don't know. I don't know how much I can give into that. But fact of the matter is they think they have the guy. And he was wearing an American flag shirt or something of the sort, some sunglasses, And just from the way he was shot, I think he had to have been experienced to some degree. Maybe not as experienced as he was like ex-military or whatever, but I think he has to be experienced to some degree. I still don't know if Kirk was shot in the neck or the chest and it ricocheted up, because bullets do weird things when they hit bones. But if he was shot in the neck, that's quite the statement, because you're shooting somebody who's known for their voice, and you're shooting them in the neck, and you're shooting them in the carotid artery of all things, which is a kill shot for the most part, because you're going to bleed out at that point. And then on top of that, it's just sending a message. You're shooting somebody in the throat. And I don't know, man. I think the fact he was shot at a public university is so sad, man. It's so sad that he was killed in front of people, killed in front of, I think, his family. His family has to now grow up without him. And it just should be unacceptable, guys. It's a sad thing that we've reached a state in this country where people can't even have discourse. It doesn't matter if you agree with him. It doesn't matter if you don't. If AOC was shot and killed, if conservatives were cheering, I would immediately think like, dude, you have some screws loose. Like, that's fucked. But the fact of the matter is, I haven't seen people cheer for things like that. I spent all night, I couldn't get out of my head, especially the video, but I couldn't get out of my head that people on TikTok and Instagram were making videos cheering, like clapping and cheering and riding around on scooters and with megaphones saying, you know, F him, and actually cheering like, oh my God, he wished it upon himself. Like, I don't feel bad. And these are like regular people. I'm seeing like college age women and college age men, like regular people, like white chick in a cowgirl hat, you know, that you are like typical, just like a typical human that you'd be like, oh, that's a normal person. Not feel bad at all. Not feel any remorse. I've seen social justice pages, like all of the like change, you know, like change, the page change, pages like that, or pages like all the social justice, like informed, like one's called so.informed, the BLM pages, like things like that. I've seen story posts on pages like that, pages of that caliber, saying how much he was a xenophobe and this and all the phobes that you could throw at him, trying to justify it. And then on top of that, there was a school shooting the same day, hours later, and people are posting the school shooting as if to dismiss him being assassinated. Like, guys, what is going on? You shouldn't be dismissing one tragedy for the other. Murder to any degree is terrible. Whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're Asian, whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, no matter what the case, assassination is fucking terrible, dude. That's not just a regular shooting. That's a rifle being set up. That's a calculated shutting off someone's life. And I just think it's terrible that people are dismissing one for the other. School shootings are terrible. The fact that somebody would go through to kill kids is terrible. And then on top of all of this, I saw these social justice pages again posting how it's all about gun reform. Gun reform's the issue. Guys, who picked up the guns? Can we talk about that? I own a gun. I don't believe everyone should. I don't believe you should if you're not trained. I don't believe you should if you're psychotic. I don't believe you should, depending on certain things about your background test. I would agree that guns need to be regulated. To think that every human being in America could just pick up a gun and walk around, that's stupid. That's very stupid to me. But I own a gun, and I'm happy to own it, and I'm proud to own one. But I think not everybody should. And I think using this because somebody from the right got killed, and then using this because there was a school shooting and people on the left and the right should both be outraged, using this as it's a gun problem is so wild to me, because you're dismissing both of those and talking about the object used. When just a few days ago on a subway station, a man with 14 prior arrests who got cashless bail and catch and released. So he would get locked up for arrests and then just let right back out. Stabbed a Ukrainian war refugee to death on a U.S. train. So a Ukrainian, like white girl sitting on the train, just minding her business. There's CCTV footage of it. Stabbed to death by a guy who had 14 prior arrests, all because of catch and release. And yes, that's why, because it was left judges who are like more socially acute and things like that, just releasing the guy. Then the guy comes out, stabs her to death. So if you want to talk about, oh, the gun's the problem, can we talk about the knife that was just used? Which Charlie Kirk's last post on social media was that. He said, America will never be the same. And it was a photo of the girl right before she died, the shocked look on her face. And then the guy stabbing her to death while people literally just watched. Guys, the problem that's going on in this country, we can locate it down to people. Like, we can locate it down to guns or knives or this or politics, but it comes down to people. You can't just lack the accountability to blame everything around you without looking in the fucking mirror. Whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're Democrat, whether you're Republican, look in the fucking mirror. I own a gun. I don't go out and just fucking blast people. I own a knife. I don't go out and just stab people. And if I saw that happen, I would step the fuck in. And if you wouldn't, maybe you're part of the problem. Maybe you're part of the problem. Have you ever, I just don't understand how people can't take accountability for their actions. They vote a certain way, certain policies get passed, then terrible things happen because of the policy, then they just look the other way as if it's not their fault. It's just so gross to me that we've came to a place where just because you disagree with somebody, you're happy that they got killed. Or you're silent on purpose to prove a point that you don't care if they got killed. Or you start posting other tragedies that happen as if to say, well, look at this. You're not mad about this. Why should I be mad about that? How about both things are terrible? How about nobody overseas should be getting blasted to smithereens? How about nobody overseas should also be a terrorist and use humans as human shields? How about nobody should be happy, or nobody should look the other way when there's a school shooting? How about nobody should be happy or look the other way when someone gets assassinated on a fucking public campus in broad daylight in front of thousands of students who will now be scarred forever, and his family will grow up without a father, all because he championed different beliefs? It's just crazy to me, man. And what it means, I think, for America in general, it's not the country. The country's objective. The country's great. The country lets in me and my dad was an immigrant, or you, who your family was probably an immigrant. The country lets in people from all walks of life to basically do what they wish to do as long as you don't harm others. It's not America that's the problem. It's not this. It's not that. It's the people. It's the people, guys. It's the lack of accountability. It's I can look the other way when things are bad and then just embrace the good and hope that someone else will step in. I can criticize the military and law enforcement when things go bad, but then I need them when things are good. I can look the other way when somebody gets blasted in the fucking neck or chest or head because they differ from politically than I do. It doesn't matter if we're on the right or your views don't matter. At the end of the day, murder of somebody who can't defend themselves should never be tolerated. Never. Murder of someone who's incapable of defending themselves, who did not provoke harm on other people, should never be tolerated. And you can think about, well, he was harmful through his words or through this or who he supported. Stop. You're justifying your own lack of morality or your own lack of God. There's a difference between supporting somebody who has a certain policy, who can hurt other people by deporting them and this, that. And there's a difference between somebody going around saying, oh, we need to round up everybody and kill them, which he's never done. He's never wished harm on anyone. And guys, no, even if this was a super liberal, whatever, massive spokesperson who had 10 million followers, I would still be like, what the fuck? If I saw people cheering. He's not a politician. Yeah, he kind of is through his political discourse and his influence, but he's still a civilian. He's not he's a civilian. No different than you or me or someone else who started up a political Instagram or social media. And there's so many social media and media pages that are completely liberal and that are staying like silent or trying to justify it, like MSNBC trying to blame it on a Trump supporter. Well, it might have been somebody firing a gun in the crowd, a celebration. Who do you know that fires a gun into the crowd, a celebration on a public campus? Like what? They're trying to make it seem like, oh, some right-wing guy or this, that. Like, what the fuck, man? I think what it means for America is I think it resigns with his last post on Instagram, which is America will never be the same. And it was a photo of that girl being stabbed to death. And I just think it's so sad, man. It's so sad. Not because specifically it was him, not because he's Republican, not because this. It's sad that just based off of beliefs, we've come to the point where we're celebrating not just the death of someone, not somebody passing due to something, but the assassination, the forced turning off of someone else's life. And no matter if you're on the right or the left or this, or, oh, well, look at this senator who got killed, or, well, look at this school shooting, or look at this. They can all be bad. They can all be bad. They should all be demonized. They should all be demonized. It's not one or the other. It's not, that's such an inhumane way of thinking. Like, that's just such a fucked way. It's like, I don't care about your kid dying because this girl's parents died, or this girl's kid died. Her kid died. Why should I care about your kid dying when you weren't sad for hers? How about you have a little bit of humanity and be sad for both? Not just the family, not just this. The fact someone was assassinated in broad daylight, that could be you. That could be you at a coffee shop saying, yeah, F Trump, or yeah, F this. And someone overhears you, then follows you to your car and blasts you in the fucking head and your brain's all over the windshield. And then people are like cheering. That could be you. The only difference is this guy had a massive following. I don't know, man. I think what it means for America and just humanity in general is no matter how much you disagree with someone, especially if they've never called to violence against you or lashed out on you or tried to harm you, I think you should never wish harm on someone else or turn the blind eye just because there's other harm being done around the world. I think an assassination and someone being shot and mugged is still two different things. They're both terrible in their own way, but setting up a rifle and like knowing that the person is going to be sitting there, face value, there's no way they could survive, and just taking the shot. If you're happy about that, I'm not even religious. I'm not even Christian, bro. But I think whatever we have in this afterlife, like, I can't imagine that your life is being lived to the degree that you want it to be lived in. You probably have somewhat of a shitty life or shitty existence here to begin with. But I think in the afterlife too, like whatever you come back as, whatever happens to you, I think, there will be no excuse for it. Like when you're judged on the timeline, if reincarnation's real, if this is real, whatever it is, I think you will be judged. And I think that manifests in other ways. Maybe the life you live on the day-to-day is really shitty. And then that explains it, like why you wish harm on others. But I think you'll never get far in life putting that type of energy out there. And it is sad, not because he was conservative, not because he's Republican, not because this, not because she's liberal or he's that or they're this or this, that. It's terrible that somebody is fucking assassinated and that anybody could feel like a relief or happiness. But that's all I got to say on this topic, guys. I just felt like I had to say something. I felt like I had to say something about what it means for America going forward. And it's maybe it'll never be the same, you know? But maybe this will be a huge wake-up call and people will get their shit together. And even people from the extreme left or people from the extreme right will come together and be like, damn, like, what am I doing? Like, we're all in this together. We all bleed the same. Like, what am I doing? And maybe a little bit of humanity is restored. But that's all I have to say on this. I really do wish that each and every one of you listening don't feel like anxious when you're going out and things like that. But just know that your actions have consequences. Know that the way you vote and the policies that you vote and the people that you put in power, they'll either have your back or they'll leave you out to dry. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. I usually do not do political stuff, but I feel like I had to give my take. So yeah, have a good one. Peace.